Are you tired of all the dating games, rules, and societal norms that make falling in love confusing and stressful?
Then join us as we ditch the script and empower you to establish healthy, conscious relationships.
This weekly podcast breaks down popular dating reality television and educates you on healthy versus toxic dating habits.
I'm Brianna, a licensed therapist.
And I'm Alex, a trauma-informed and certified narcissist recovery coach.
Are you ready to ditch the script?
Okay, we're here.
Whatever were you singing?
Ready for It by Taylor Swift.
Oh, okay.
In the middle of the night, that part. In my dreams. It's been stuck in my head.
I'm pretty good at lip reading, like for an amateur.
You really are phenomenal at it.
Yeah, I'm not really sure
Your
why.
secret talent.
I think it's because I can't hear very well.
Some people lick elbows, you read lips.
Wait,
you know?
lick? Oh, it can be like.
The hidden talent.
Yeah.
You think it's because you can't hear. I mean, that would be adaptation at its finest, you know?
I do think it has a lot to do with it because I really cannot hear super, super well. I am going to talk to a doctor about it.
Shit. If you're listening and you're an ENT, slide into Brianna's DMs.
Yeah. Let me know where you practice and if I can get a free phone call from you.
For real. That's kind of funny, but also not.
No, it's okay.
I can't see super well. We were just talking about that. So,
and you're paying for it, as we've discussed.
Literally, out the bubble.
Literally.
Insurance is the biggest scam in America, and I'm gonna leave it at that because otherwise my blood pressure will go through the roof, and we don't have time for that today.
Period.
Moving on.
Period. So I was really trying to figure out what you were singing because I was like, I saw every night something, and I was like, I could kind of put it together, but unless I know the song, I'm not going to know what you're saying.
Right, I get that. I also understand that.
But so then once I didn't know the song, I was just committed to like grooving with you.
Yeah,
Like
it was good. We definitely got some good body rolls in.
Yeah, we did.
Slayed it. Yeah. Oh, it was Taylor Swift as always. That's all that was.
You're in a T Swift era, which I really appreciate.
This whole year has been, which is so out of nowhere for me. But whatever, you know. I got the T Swift bug.
It doesn't surprise me because you are someone who really appreciates the guitar and songwriting and
poetry, her lyrics, man.
And poetry, and like I've always known you for as long as I've known you. I know that you love to like teach yourself how to play certain songs that like speak to you on the guitar.
Yeah.
And sing. And it's like a really great way that you spend time with yourself.
Yeah.
And so when you were like, I'm in a heavy like Taylor Swift, I do.
It's a little scary sometimes.
You know what? I have another friend that says that as well. I'll like say things that she has done or said, and she goes, you know, that's a scary thing about our friendship is that like you will say things that I don't even remember telling you, and I've got it stored in my brain. But it's because I love you guys so much.
We love you.
Yeah,
so
thank
much.
you. I know, I feel that
so much.
So anyway, I'm not surprised that you're in a big Taylor Swift arena.
Yeah. I also really just like for the human she is, I think that's because like I'll be real, like I don't love every single one of her songs. I like certain albums for sure. But the thing that I love about her as the artist she is what she represents and what she stands for. We need more of that. And I really want to support her even more because of that than just her music. You know what I mean? It's almost like supporting a politician, but she's not.
Yeah.
Maybe she fucking should be.
Yeah.
We're in AOC need to get together.
Yeah. Agreed. But I hear what you're saying. It's like there's of the values that are reflected in her personhood. You're like, I'm with this bitch.
Yeah.
I'm with her.
Yes. So I love that. And yeah, she's basically always stuck in my head in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And
in other words, how are we?
We're
tired.
Fucking great. I'm really busy, but I'm really happy and great. And tired. But I'll sleep on the plane tomorrow.
Thank you for, oh yeah, she's going to Cabo. She's going to
We'll talk
Mexico,
about
ladies and
that in a
gentlemen.
second because this is actually that's a big deal. But we'll talk about it in a minute.
Oh yeah, that's right. We have so many things to talk about in this moment.
Yeah, we got to get going.
Oh yeah.
It's going to
Okay,
be
I'm
a
on the,
jam-packed episode, everybody. Buckle in.
yeah, that's
Okay?
right. I'm
Click
like,
your ticket.
okay, I'm at work right now. First, we're going to give you an update about the Ditch the Script world.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Our big news is that we are making changes to the cadence of the show and the scheduling of our recordings and episode rollout. We
yeah.
are making more time for the very many things that we are both balancing. And so that
Yeah.
means that we're not going to be recording every week and we will
Single
miss
week.
that.
We will
Actually,
miss it and we will miss you guys so much. And at the same time, we want to be more intentional because right now we've been covering like every goddamn reality TV show that has probably ever existed. And what we really want to do is make space for, like Bree said, our schedules and the things that we're growing and really putting energy into. But we also want to deliver something that you guys really want to hear and something that we really want to watch, full
yeah.
transparency. So
Yeah.
what we're going to be doing is we are going to be kind of divvying up our seasons, if you will, into like when a show has come out and the world is talking about it and Bree and I have something interesting to say about it, we will be here, we will produce it, you will see us posting about it on our social channels. So if you have not followed Ditch the Script Pod on TikTok and or IG, Instagram, you got to get on that to stay in touch with us, stay connected, and find out when we are going to be posting our next show and delicious analyzation for you guys to partake in with us. So stay
Yeah.
tuned.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. But it won't be until 2024 probably, and we have no guarantee when. It's really up to the universe
Yeah.
telling us
Yeah, we're
what
kind
show
of
we want to do.
leading we're kind of leading with our chakras
Yeah.
first
We're
and foremost.
surrendered. Yeah. And so maybe like if you are a longtime listener, we love you. If you're a new listener, we also super love you. But go binge our old episodes. There is so
Yeah.
much gold. And not only that, a lot of what we've unpacked, you can totally rewatch with us as we unpack those seasons through streaming services. So if you just
Yeah.
can't get enough of us, continue to not get enough of us and go back to the OG episodes and just tune in. We still appreciate your
Yeah.
support so much.
If any part of this makes you feel bummed out and sad, we're with you.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
also just wanted to like note the appreciation for the people who have contributed to listening to the conversations
And
that Alex
leaving
and I have on
reviews.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys are like insightful and curious. And the thing that I think that we have in common, that you and I, Alex, have in common, that we share with the people that listen and write to us and like, or just let us know that they like what we're doing, is like everyone really wants better for themselves in their relationships,
Yeah.
romantic and otherwise, in
Agreed.
for yourselves and for your friends. And I we both feel really, really, really proud of like creating our own little corner of the
Yes.
internet to, or like the podcast world, for that to like, I don't know, to grow in its
Yep.
tiny and small and mighty way. And
Yeah.
so just even as we're making changes and we're not totally disappearing, we do want to say like we do really love you and thank like being able to do this. And anytime I've ever felt like really run down by the scheduling and the demand of doing good
Keeping
work
up with
here
it.
because we
Mhm.
care about it so much, I am almost serendipitously reminded by someone who listens like how much they really love what we do.
Yeah.
And it's fucking cool and it always brings me back because I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's just been really beautiful. So
It
we love you.
has. We
Hmm.
love you guys. Brie, I love you so much.
I love you
And I
too.
couldn't
This has
have
been
done, yeah, couldn't have done it with anyone else. Wouldn't have done it with anyone else.
no,
Literally.
absolutely not.
No,
this has been so good for our friendship.
for real. Yeah. Yeah. And, like,
Yeah.
we've also gotten like, we don't talk about this much online, but, like, some of the skills that we do talk about on this show, we've used with each other and
Use.
brought into our own life, like,
Yeah.
with other people, and it's just been so cool to see how the show's evolved, but how you and I personally have evolved over the last 2
Yeah.
years of doing this.
Yeah.
Like,
Period.
love it. Yeah. So stay tuned. I'm gonna do a little shameless plug here just
Yes.
because it's like, y'all, I love podcasts. If you're not following me on Instagram yet, at the Alex Scott, and that's spelled TheAlexScot, not two T's. But if you're not following me, definitely do, because I think I might be starting a little mini podcast of my own. I don't know if I wouldn't call it a spin-off show, but I will also, the reason I'd love for you to follow along with that is because I will totally be giving a heads up to when we will be hopping on for another season of
Right.
DTS in that show too. So that's another way just to stay connected with us and make sure that you're getting the latest and greatest info. So
Yeah.
the end.
I'm
Yeah.
excited to hear more about it. And like,
Me too. I'm percolating on a few things. I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do and also what
yeah.
would be valuable to the as many listeners as possible. So we'll figure it
Yeah.
out.
And like, and like energetically what makes sense, because kind of like what we were just saying with the show, it's given us, it's given back a lot to us. And you kind of want to always like, if I'm going to put energy in to make this good and deliver something meaningful
Yeah.
and something I feel strongly about, like I hope that it recycles some energy and like I too benefit from it. Mhm.
Exactly. Yeah. So stay tuned. And I think
Cool.
that's all we really have to say about that.
That.
But Brie and I, as always, we're chitty chatting just as friends before we hit the record button for today's episode. And a really fun and spooky topic of conversation came up. And since we're going into the new year, we thought it would be a really great time to talk about vision boarding, manifesting, getting ready. You know, I want to stay away from the words of like New Year resolutions. Like, no,
Yeah.
no,
We're
maybe
we're
New
we're
Year
talking.
evolution, but not
I
resolution.
like that.
Yeah.
New Year evolution. I really like that. It doesn't have to be at the timing of January, but as
No.
some of us may just even in our conditioned response to the new year feel
Yeah.
like, okay, what are
So
we
true.
starting? What are we letting go? And
Yeah.
so with minimal pressure applied, Alex was talking about her vision board because she keeps referencing it in ways of she's like, bitch, this shit is happening. And I am like, oh my God, how do I vision board? Like, because I'm into all of this stuff, except where I struggle and where my brain gets blocked is like, I'm not a crafty person. And I've always in my mind seen vision boarding as like something you like cut out and make scrapbooks, like scrapping and cutting and
Yeah.
pasting and arting that I
Yeah.
don't have a bone for. And Alex literally makes this on Canva. And many of us have used Canva. It's very easy. It doesn't have to be Canva. It could be like
You
hard
could do
IRL, but
glue stick. Yeah, totally.
the whole
Like,
thing.
yeah.
But I wanted to pick Alex's brain about it on the episode today because I want to learn more about how she like
Yeah.
energetically sets up to call in what she wants to call in to create a vision board. And and then like how often do you refer to it? Like how do you keep it in your line of sight is really what I
Yeah.
want to know for me.
Oh
And
my
then I guess for
gosh, so
everyone
many
else.
questions. I have the amount of like flutters I have in my body right now as we start to talk
Yeah.
about this. So the reason, so first of all, as we're recording this on Sunday, the 3rd of December, and by the time you're listening to this episode, I will be on a plane going out of the country for the first time ever in my life. So that's that was something that I put on my vision board for this year. Never had a passport, got that, in September. And
Ooh.
I also loosely put a boy on my vision board, and you guys know I have a boyfriend who ironically has a very similar hat to what is the picture of the boy on my vision board with the hat. It's just creepy. So that's how we got onto
Spooky.
this conversation. How like, yeah. So here's the thing. There's a few things that I have picked up when it comes to vision boarding, and one is like taking into consideration the lessons learned / what did you desire more of and less of in your current year. And so
Mm.
last year, when I was making the vision board that I have for this year that we're referencing right now, I remember feeling burnt out quite a bit. I remember feeling um like wanting more money, like making ends meet in a more comfortable
Yeah.
way. Like we're just going
Yeah.
to talk about it because that's a huge part
Yeah.
of energetics and manifestation as well. I was very single at the time, not even dating, not even interested in dating. But I had right before I started vision boarding, I had this very vivid dream. And if you know me, I don't dream I don't remember my dreams. I don't dream vividly very often. And
Mm.
so I was actually FaceTiming with Sam, another really good friend of mine that's known me since high school. And she made me draw a picture of this dream. And I lit some Palo Santo. And it was, yes, about a guy, whatever. Story for another day.
Yeah.
But all of this comes into play because, like, there was definitely, even though I was single as a Pringle, there was an aspect of me that was, like, looking forward to dating again and potentially
Yeah.
having a guy in my life. So the reason I say start with lessons and the things that you want more of is because we learn a lot in contrast. It's like when we aren't happy with something in our life, it's a call for us to get curious and say, well, what do we want? If this isn't making me happy, then what do I want and how can I get there? And let's focus our eyes and attention on that. So some
Yeah.
of the words, because like I'm a big believer in like not just putting pictures up, but like how do you want to feel? You know, I think a lot of
Mm.
times people focus so much on material stuff. So it's like they'll put like a YSL bag or like this, that, and the other thing. But it's like, how do you want to feel is where I always
Mm.
start.
Okay.
So I have words like ease on my board, literally ease, playful.
Mm.
I do have the word abundance on there. I have gratitude on there, which I also got tattooed on my body.
Yeah.
Um, and so I really just focused on like putting words on the board that were things that I really wanted to call in. And
Mm.
with ease, like that word has been such a big word for me this entire year because it's not just like ease in my energy, but it's like, how can and I was just talking to you about this, about the new way I'm trying to screw around with creating content, but it's like, how can I do the things in the most easeful way is something I've come back
Yeah.
to a lot. And that's
Mm-hmm.
really what ease means for me. So first thing, lessons learned. What did you want more of? What did you want less of in your life? And just use that as a lens to be able to target whatever you want in the new year and put that on your board. Before I
Yeah.
continue, any questions?
No, I think I like the difference between how do I want to feel versus what do I want to see. And I think
Mm,
like if there's stuff that you want to see, like I want to see the Grand Canyon, if
go
that's
for
what
it.
like
Yeah.
yeah, do that. But it's like what do I want to obtain? Like do whatever you want with your vision board, but like I think what's interesting is like give yourself the opportunity to like think about the kind of life that you're searching for and then take it one layer deeper
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
maybe
How
go
do you
one
want
layer
the life to
deeper.
feel? Yeah. And I
Yeah.
say this even with clients and like attracting partners. I say this all the time. Stop looking at like, well, I want them to be over 6 feet and I want them to have brown hair and I want them to have blue eyes. It's like,
Right.
forget all of that. How do you want your ideal partner to make you feel?
Yeah. Uh,
And focus on that because when we navigate our life from a place of feeling, it becomes so much easier to take the emotion out of it and be like, but this isn't how I want to feel, like, or this is how I want to feel, so let me do more of it. You know what I mean?
are people out here doing separate vision boards for separate parts of their life?
If you want. I didn't, but if you
Yeah.
want, go for it. There's no
Yeah.
rules, y'all. There's
No
really no
rules.
rules. I want
Cool.
to take it to what I think is the most important part of my vision board.
Please. Please.
So in the center of my vision board, I have what is called like my context for the year. And
Mm.
basically that's like a mantra. It could be a mantra, it could be a word, it could be whatever, but it's basically like very much based off of the lessons learned from my first part of this. It's like, well, what would my higher self tell me? What would my higher self encourage me? Like whatever it is. So my context for this year was yes, I can. And I literally have
Mm.
in the center of my board, it says, yes, I can 2023. Like it's like big and bold right in the middle. And every moment that I've had this year that I've wanted to give up, and Brie, you've heard all of these moments personally.
Mhm.
She has heard all of these moments where I've been like, I'm really like, I feel at the end of my rope, or I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to burn this business to the ground. Like there have been so many times where I've had that, but I always come back to my context. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. I can figure it out. I can make this happen. I can fill in the blank, like whatever it is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've really reminded myself of that. And it's really been the powerhouse of my year. I think if there's one important part of your vision board, it's that. It's like, what is the context for 2024 going to be for you? Right?
Mm.
What is the mantra? Is it like, I don't know, I can do all things, or what I can have whatever I want, or maybe yes I can really resonates with you. Maybe it's take a break, work smarter not harder. Like whatever it is, and it can be a single word. Alignment might be a context for you. But I think getting really clear and make it simple and make it big on your vision board. Just make it so obvious you can't deny it. Go ahead.
Mine's gonna be balance. A
Ooh, I
bitch needs
love that.
balance.
Yeah, she does. You got it.
Yeah.
I love that. That's such a good one. Great. Thank you for sharing. Then
Thank
from
you.
there, I take the feeling words that I chose, and I take my context, and I pick a handful of photos that mimic that feeling. So like for ease, I have like a gal getting a massage. For travel, freedom is really what's on my board, but freedom to me means so many things besides like financial freedom, but also location freedom. And so travel was on there. So I have like a passport. I have a photo of Cabo, which is ironically literally where I'm going tomorrow. Spooky. And it's not like you got, I think they need to, I feel like I need to share with the audience. I'm going to Cabo because of a
For
work
free.
thing, for free. Yes. Which is also too, but like also true. Sorry. But, it's not like you'd think like, well, yeah, of course you're going to Cabo. You picked Cabo because it's on your board, but it was more just like circumstances happened that led me to being in Cabo for free.
Yeah.
Like for work,
Yes.
which is so wild.
Yeah.
So that's on the board. I didn't, if I'm being really honest, I was not expecting to get into a relationship this year. I was like going to definitely start dating in 2023. So I loosely put a photo of a guy. I didn't want it to be the main focus of my board. So the photo that I showed this with Brie, it's like the back of a guy sitting looking at like what seems to kind of be like a sunset over like a pool of water. So there's not like a face. It's just like the essence of a man.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. And so I was just like, if it's available, universe, I'm available, is like very surrendered to it. I had the other thing that I think is huge is put pictures of yourself in your board. I think a lot. So I have a few photos of me from my photo shoot that I did last year interjected like amongst the things that I wanted to be doing. And I think a lot of times when we are desiring something, we look at it as separate from us. We almost put it on a pedestal. It's like, oh my God, this is my vision board. And like, look at how beautiful and wonderful that is. But it's like when we can insert ourselves into the vision board, it's like, I'm doing those things. And you're seeing yourself partake in those things instead of it being like a disconnect.
It creates some familiarity between yourself and the things that you haven't quite accessed yet.
Yeah. So I think that's huge. So interject photos of you wherever you can on your board photos of you that you really like, that you're just like, yeah, that's a damn good photo of me, like make yourself feel fucking good. Yeah. So those are my tips. Now, as far as where is it, how often do I look at it, whatever. It is posted in my room where I can see it from my bed on a cork board. Amongst like other photos with friends and family and little like inspirational quotes. Like I kind of use my cork board as like a collective, like whatever I want to put up there.
Yeah.
Sort of. And I maybe read it and like really look at it and spend time with it once a week, not often.
Cool. It's
I
just
mean,
like
maybe if you think
reference.
once a week. It's like I feel you. It's like I almost like a moment, like I'll read the inspirational quotes, but I really just take a moment to look at it and be like, "Ooh, that feels so good." You know?
Mm,
It's not anything super serious. I don't really do anything that's like prayer-y about it. It's just like, this feels really good. This is the life I'm creating and like let's do the damn thing, you know? Maybe that's a
yeah.
context for 2024. Let's do the damn thing.
Let's do the
Um
damn thing.
yeah, and so maybe that will be my context for 2024. Anyway, so those are all my secret tips and tricks. I'm kind of racking my brain to see if there's anything else that
No, honestly, that
I
was
think is
a
good.
full-on education. And
Sorry,
I
I
really
hope that was
appreciate no.
helpful.
Oh no, it was
Okay.
no, it was really helpful. I really appreciate it because um I don't know if I've ever heard anyone explain, and that's I know and understand this is just your process.
Mm-hmm.
And that is just one version of a process. But I've never heard anyone break down how the fuck they do this.
Mm.
And so I just really appreciate you being open and
Yeah.
being a little bit like step inside of this with me, which
Yeah.
this is it's now that I hear it, I mean obviously it's personal, but it is personal in
Yeah.
a really meaningful way. So
I
I
think
really
it
appreciate
needs
that.
to be. Like, I
Yeah.
think, like, the idea, like you kind of said at the start of the show, it's like people are like, I'm going to put dollar bills and I'm going to put, you know, which by the way, I do have dollar bills on mine. I think for me,
Yeah.
and this is to each their own, but for me, I used to feel a lot of shame seeing dollar bills. So my way of like, I'm going to confront this and literally like head on is like, I'm looking at money. I'm getting
Right.
comfortable looking at money. I'm allowed to desire money. Money is a resource we all need. It doesn't make you a shitty person, especially if you stay grounded in this work. Like, look at going back to Taylor Swift. She gives her money back to her people. Like,
Yeah.
she literally paid out her truck drivers like a $200,000 bonus each. So it's like, come on now, like we have the opportunity to do good. I think good money in the hands of good people does wonderful things. Anyway,
Amen.
so make it personal, put yourself in it, like reflect back on what you learned, what you wanted more of, and really aim for that. Set a context, put it in the center of your board. That becomes your mantra for your year. And reflect on it once ish a week. And I think the biggest thing that trips people up with vision boarding or manifesting in general, and I'm fucking preaching the choir here with myself, is like when we get so obsessed over a manifestation or something we're aiming for that we're constantly obsessively like, oh my God, I need to think this and I need to feel good about it. And I need to like, oh, am I thinking about what I'm calling in today? Am I feeling good about what I'm calling in today? It's like when we do that, we're actually pushing it further away. So it's kind of like a set and
Mm.
forget type vibe. It's
Yeah.
like I didn't realize when I sent you that voice note and I'm like, yo, this is kind of weird, like how this is happening.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't think about it till months after some of these things had already started happening, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a
So,
surrendering too. It's like you put the
yeah,
effort into creating it because in that moment while you're making it, you are in alignment with what you are desiring.
yeah,
And, and that's all you really need. And then you make it accessible for you to reference so that it can continue to be familiar to you, but not with the heavy set intention of being like, and this has to guide my day or this has to
right.
guide my month. It's just
Yeah.
sort of like it's there as a fixture in your room, just like that cool, sexy lamp that you found on Facebook Marketplace. It just adds to the vibe. You're not thinking super hard about it.
No. And you're not emotionally caught up in it,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Hmm.
So, anyway, that's
Gorgeous.
that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Slide into my
Okay.
DMs if you have any questions. Happy to chitty chat on this fun topic.
Maybe if you want more of this, request this to be an Alex Scott podcast
Oh my God. Yeah, I would
subject.
totally love to do that.
Cool.
Great idea.
Ideas. I don't
Done.
know what that was. Ideas blowing out of my mouth like magic and glitter.
Sparkles. So that's what I
Yeah.
saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I don't know what you saw. Can I do this still on my camera? I
Yeah.
can.
Sweet. Oh yeah, there we go.
That
I wish
reminded
I
me
could.
of Harry Potter, which is so late that that's That reminded me. There's this scene. There's a song. For all my Harry Potter fans, y'all are gonna get this. This is gonna go over Bree's head. But when Ron Weasley is
Yes.
dating Lavender Brown, I think is her last name, and she like sends like blows a kiss and is like like blowing. It's really shitty.
And are
It's
they
like
like
awkward.
are they like magic kisses that
She's
find
just a
him?
stage 5 clinger. No. She's
Oh,
just like a stage 5 clinger doing the most with like the blowing of kisses. Just like, yeah,
she needs to listen to our podcast.
she does. She's heavily anxiously attached. Okay. Speaking of
Mm-hmm.
anxious attachment, are we
Oof.
ready to go on
I've,
over to the Golden Batch finale / after the final rose?
I've never been more ready in my entire life to wrap the show
Yeah,
up.
for real. For real. Okay, do you have notes? I'm just curious. I was thinking about you today when I was taking notes. I was like, I wonder if she took notes.
Not a single pen met
Love
a
it.
single piece of paper.
You know what? I kind of love this for you though. I think you deserve to not take
I'm
notes.
surrendering.
She's so surrendered.
Surrendering is my new excuse for
Maybe that's your
not
context
doing.
for 2024. But isn't it an excuse? See, okay, this is let's talk about this. Y'all, Brianna has so fucking much going on in her life. So is surrendering an excuse where you're not you're still present, you're still going to be able to recall things as we go through this and add to it. So is it an excuse for being what society likes to call lazy, or is it an intentional decision based off the capacity that you have for this moment?
Yes, exactly. And thank you so much. And thumbs up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And also in the literal plane, when we did Love Island a year ago,
Mhm.
there was so much episode that I needed to take notes.
100%.
We covered
I
like
get that.
5 episodes every
A
week, which
week.
honestly, current me could literally never.
No, same. With
Like
what fucking time? Although I look back
I
on that part of my life and I'm like, with what fucking time?
you were busy as fuck at that time. I don't know how you did that. I love that
Oh
past
god.
version of us, and I'm so grateful that they did what they did because it exists and it will exist forever,
Yeah.
and that's kind of fucking cool. But
Yeah.
quite literally, we'll never be able to do that. I don't think, and that's fine.
Yeah. But
Love
like,
that.
okay, and this is the thing, because like going back to what we were just talking about with the yes I can, like yes I can for the things that I want to do. Just because I
Right.
can doesn't mean I should, you know?
Or
It's
will.
like we all could work 80 fucking hour days, which makes no sense. But you know what I mean? Like we could all
Yeah.
constantly be, that's kind of how it feels, on all of the
Yeah.
time. But just
That
because
makes
we are capable does not mean it is necessary. So it's
yeah.
like choose your own adventure. That is not an
Yeah.
adventure we are choosing.
Yeah. And I think like with the Golden Bachelor, it's just like the formula is so predictable and like the content honestly is so simple that
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna watch this and just riff.
Yeah.
Love it. The
Love it
last couple
too.
episodes that we had done that I did take notes, I wasn't looking at them because
Right.
like
So why
we
does
got
it
into
matter?
it. Yeah, why does
We
it
get
matter?
into it every
Anyway,
time. So
let's
let me
talk
just,
about this.
I'm going to consult my notes just to know where we start. So Teresa,
Yep.
so we have overnights. The last two are Faith and Leslie. Now they're meeting the fam. So Teresa meets the
No.
kids. Oh,
Teresa and Leslie. You
what did I
said
say?
Faith.
Oh,
Faith and
shit.
Leslie. Oh,
Freudian
sorry,
slip.
Faith.
So sorry, Faith.
Sorry, Faith.
Teresa and Leslie. So sorry, Faith. Wow, that was hilarious. So we have Teresa and Leslie. Teresa is meeting the kids and granddaughters, and Gerry and Teresa are over the moon, obsessed with each other. Great.
Yeah.
She gets along with the family. Amazing. And that's really all I have to say. I actually have one more thing to say, but did you have anything specific you wanted to say about the kiddos meeting her?
No, not at all.
Okay, cool.
Literally
Do you have
not at
anything
all.
that you want to say about anything about Teresa and the children?
I do because I'm working, but I liked the moment that they had when she was recalling a memory of, they were talking about the vodka thing and she was recalling the memory about the first night that she went out with her, who
Yep.
became her husband, her late husband.
Yeah, Billy.
And he got her drunk, and I really appreciated that she shared that story so comfortably, and Gerry reflected feeling really appreciative to hear. I thought it was really nice that he was like, I like hearing stories about Billy. It helps me get to know you even more. And I think that that's really special and speaks to what you really helped me best understand last episode, which was like they experience their grief separately, but sort of in tandem next to each other in a way where it's very grounded and very like, this is always welcome to be a part of our relationship and there's no threat
Yeah.
here.
Yes.
And
That was
yeah,
the next thing I was going to say is exactly that. You
very
know,
cool.
like they talk about their exes in a mature way. They use it as insight instead of feeling threatened by it. You know,
Yep.
like I
Yep.
think a lot of people can struggle hearing about someone's ex and be like, well, you talk about them. So are you missing them? Do you love them more than me? Like, it's about me now. I'm your person. And it's like, ooh, like that's really just your insecurity and ego talking right now, not coming from a mature, enlightened place. So I really, really valued hearing them, that kind of camaraderie between them, where we're like using this as insight to build our relationship, not be threatened by it or trying, even potentially going into trying to control what the other person can and cannot talk about, you know?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
There's one other thing that I really want to share about this, and Teresa talks about this with Gerry, and I think this is
Yes.
huge, and I really appreciated Teresa talking about it. She
Yeah.
says when they're having their little canoodle date, their like last date before God knows what happens, right? She mentions like, look, I love you, and of course like I can't see my life without you now that we're this far into it. And she's like, but at the same time I really want you to be happy even if that's not with me. Because she's like, if there's even, she basically was saying like, if there's an ounce of you that like would choose the other girl, Leslie, over me, go ahead and take her. Because she's like,
Yeah.
I want someone to overwhelmingly want me and choose me.
Yeah.
And I thought
Yeah.
that was so mature of her to say, because she's not trying to say like, I need you to grovel. That's not it at all. She's just, she knows her value. She knows her
Yeah.
worth. And I think so many people get so emotionally caught up in being chosen that if there's any sense of rejection, they turn to chase instead of realizing, like, wait a second, if you're not choosing me, then I'm not choosing you. Because at the end of the
Yeah.
day, don't all of us want a partner who is going to fully choose us, right? So she talks about that. It's like, you know, if someone doesn't want me with their entire being, then I don't want them because I
Yeah.
know what I bring and I know
Yeah.
what I'm capable of giving. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I love that, and I
Yeah.
thought that was a great message to share.
There's a great deal of certainty and confidence
Mhm.
in believing that about yourself and then communicating it to your partner who might still be like, let's say this is in a more in touch reality type of setting. You're dating someone that you both know that you're dating other people. It's sort of like, actually, I had a moment like this when I was about to date my like college boyfriend,
Oh,
where we weren't dating yet. We'd been friends for a while. We were really close, and then all of a sudden we started like talking more about the fact that we liked each other in a different way. And I told him, I was like, I know that you aren't really interested in being in a relationship because of things that were relevant in his very recent history. I was like, but like I'm here like whenever you're ready. Like if I don't know if you I don't know if I see you being connecting with someone more the way that you connect with me. So like if you want to be together, like this this is here for you. I'm not going to pressure you. I want you to be here because you decide you want to be here.
yes.
Instead of this being like we're here so like we might as well. It's not a we might as well.
Yeah. Gottman Institute calls that sliding in, right?
Mm.
Like it's funny how we talk about sliding into our DMs. Gottman Institute specifically references this with sliding into moving together. Like a lot of couples are just like, well, we've been together and now my lease is up and you know, why not save on rent? And it's like that's not
Yeah.
intentional. you're letting life circumstances dictate your next moves instead of you desiring it and then consciously planning around it. So it's sliding
Yeah.
in and moving instead of it being like a conscious, like we're planning, we're doing this together as a team. And so very similar to what you're saying, like you didn't want him to just slide into a relationship with you, which so many people do, especially with the friends with benefits thing. It's like, well, we're like not really anything, but we've been hooking up. So like, and we're playing house and we're kind of in a relationship, but we're not. But like, should we just like, I don't know, like you like kind of want to be my girlfriend or kind of want to be my
Yeah.
boyfriend?
Right.
Like, okay.
Right.
Like, there's
Right.
no intentionality. There's no backbone. There's no like, I want you. I want
Yeah.
this. I want to commit, right? Like,
Yeah. Right.
I want the chutzpah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Chutzpah.
Yeah, whatever you say
Exactly.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to get
Cool.
the,
Those are
like,
all my notes on those two.
yeah, I think like I was a little bit nervous that the show's editing was setting us up for a different kind of ending because it started so positive and cha la 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 la.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was sort of like you know what? All that I got from the initial Teresa experience in this episode was confirmation of what you and I deduced last recording,
Crushed it.
where we were, yeah, honestly, absolutely fucking, honestly, called this entire episode
Yeah.
to a T.
To a T. If anyone wants to go back and listen to us spit some motherfucking gold, you should go listen to the last previous episode.
We literally wrote exactly what was going to happen
Because
next.
we're brilliant. Bitch, you're
Like,
brilliant.
yeah.
Yeah.
I need Apple to give me like a an effect if I go like this, like a mind blown. I need it to go
Yeah, it
like
needs to be like
smoke
smoke or
out
like
of my
some
head.
kind
Yeah.
of, yeah. Yeah,
I'll talk
exactly.
to my people at Apple. I'll get back to you.
Because you have them.
I
Also,
do.
I think Apple and Spotify should name us as Podcast of the Year just for being badasses
Cool.
and predicting what's happening. Yeah, and
In
cool and
in
hot.
the Golden Bachelor universe. Yes.
Yeah. And every
Get
other
us
show that we
get
we've
us in the
unpacked.
Pentagon.
Yeah.
Duh. So, okay. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of
Moving
what we're
on.
really here to talk about, which is Leslie.
Leslie.
We got to talk about
So
Leslie.
much to talk about. Oh my God.
I really have a deep, in an almost over-identified sense of empathy with Miss Leslie. I feel
Great.
for her. I understand her. I'm frustrated by her because she reminds me of me in very specific parts.
Get it.
But I want us to talk about what unfolded.
Yeah. So, can we talk about self-deprecating humor really quick?
Yes.
I feel like I need to take a breath because I don't want what I'm about to say to come out the wrong way.
Sure.
Okay, so Leslie meets his family, and she kind of starts with a little bit of self-deprecating humor. Like, he laughs at my bad jokes. Cool.
Yeah.
And, you know, we don't see too much of it in this instance, but I feel if we were to go back and really listen to, like, all the times Leslie low-key puts herself down, right? Like, and the reason I bring this up is this is such a textbook quality of an anxiously attached person, and I am speaking from personal experience. Because we know our insecurities, we think it's funny if we call them out loud and go tee hee ha ha with everyone else. But really what we're doing is we are exposing our innermost fears and insecurities.
Thumbs up. Thumbs
Thanks for agreeing
down.
with me. Yeah. So anyway, that I just wanted to share that as like, pay attention to how someone talks about themselves, because if they're constantly putting themselves down in a jokey tee hee ha ha manner, it's really showing like, ooh, but that feels real for you in there. You know, it's just with a layer of humor. Right.
You are so familiar with it that you can actually make sometimes clever jokes about it.
Yeah. It's like you're teasing yourself. Right. But then it's like if someone else were to tease that same joke, it would probably ignite all
Hurt.
of the like, yeah, exactly. So that's
Yeah.
why I share that as an educational tool on like what to listen for and look for when you're meeting people and dating and all that. Anyway, kids ask her if she is ready for a proposal.
Yeah.
And she says yes, but admits that lifelong commitment feels scary for her because she hasn't had it before.
Yeah.
And this is like the epitome of like self-fulfilling prophecy and not being open to fully receiving. There's a lot of wounding that in just that one little conversation I could like pull threads at.
Yeah.
Um and so I really was like, when when Gerry's kids go back to have a conversation with Gerry and they allude to this moment, they were like, that makes me a little nervous that she was so emotional about it, because it makes me wonder, are you really ready for this?
Yeah.
And they're spot on right. His kids were
Yeah.
pretty intuitive. Yeah.
I really liked his kids. I felt like I could just find them somewhere. If I was lost in a supermarket, I would find Gerry's kids and be like, help me get home.
Yeah. And
Help
they
me.
would.
They take care
Yeah.
of me. Be my spirit
We know you
guides,
have
please.
daughters. You can be my makeshift mom right now.
Adopt me. I love my mom. Adopt me though, please. No, I love them. I just felt like they really like they have a lot of space for their dad to be in whatever stage of change is that he is in right now.
Yep.
And for that, like it's very clear that they have very secure relationships with their dad
Yeah,
and each other.
exactly.
Ooh,
Yep.
I just flipped you off by accident.
It's okay.
I was like,
Zoom or Mac does not have a thing for this.
they should.
Now you don't want to. I'm doing thumbs up by accident and you're spitting thumbs up, and now I'm doing one on purpose, and it's like,
Absolutely nothing. Dude, that should be the fireworks. The double
I
should be
know.
the fireworks. Down. There we go. Thank you. A little late, but
Yeah.
we love it.
Anyway, having way too much fun with that.
I am. I do love it so much. It's so entertaining. Okay.
Back to
So
Gerry and his kids.
back to Gerry and Leslie.
I mean,
They're
yeah.
meeting each other. I do think that Leslie does like really fit in, but it's true about
Yeah.
everything else. It's just not enough.
Yeah. And it's like, and let's be very clear, she is more than enough. And
Yes.
with
Thank you.
her specific wounding, it is not a compatible relationship for the long run.
Yeah.
And this is why it's like, I really need to make a post about this. Like, so many people out there are like, that are competitors of mine, are preaching about how like, you don't need to be healed to like be in a relationship. Yeah, no, you don't. You don't. But let me rephrase it like this. You never will. You never
Right.
will be healed enough to have a relationship. But what I mean when I say start healing when you're single is exactly that. It is so much easier to get ahead of some of the things that'll come up in a relationship when you are on your own, right? It's like there is so much space to feel your feelings. There's so much space to get curious. There's so much space to be like, what's triggered me in my last relationships? How can I work on that now, right? What were my weaknesses in my last relationships? How do I want to handle that moving forward? When you are in a relationship, you are going to have to heal all of the things that didn't come up for you when you were single, all the insecurities you didn't need to face that were completely flying under the radar, but you are healing in real time with another person all up in your grill. And that can be so challenging if you have not learned how to feel your own feelings, set your emotional boundaries when you need space, when you need time together. And so I really, really firmly believe if you start healing while you are single, you are only setting yourself up for relationship success in the future. It is not something that needs to be a box checked before you date, because that's just impossible. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Mic drop. Period. Exactly.
It really bothers me.
I can tell and I support it. But I agree. I think that that's Leslie's cross to bear, is that like she hasn't healed this part. I don't want to not give her enough credit to have gotten to this stage of her life and not have the awareness of the wounds, but she's I mean, she knows them enough to be able to name it and call it, but not
Something.
enough to like, yeah, to like hold space for it in a way that she is personally responsible for it, which is exactly why we see her react the way that we see her react.
I
So
know. Ugh.
let's go there. I know. Let's go there. They split from the family, and immediately Gerry is a little like, he's a little deflated because I think that he knows whatever happened in his like mental space, he has confirmed for himself that he's going to pick Teresa and it's not going to be Leslie. And so his behavior is a little bit different. And Leslie is fully dialed in on that. And I was very curious about why Leslie is so good at seeing those
Oh, it's textbook.
very subtle.
Oh my
Is it
God.
is it is it emotional survival? Is it
Well,
anxious
so
attachment?
it's anxious attachment, but literally, did you read the book Attached yet? Because it's so good.
Mm-mm,
But
mm-mm.
okay, definitely read it. And for all y'all
Yeah,
listening, read it, read Attached. But it
and no
talks
bad
about
parts. No
how
bad parts
No Bad Parts
attached.
and Attached,
Yeah,
two amazing books. Anyway, and if you definitely haven't yet, How the Body Keeps the Score is another great one.
yeah,
Anyway,
it's a good one.
here's the point. Anxiously attached people, scientifically, this is fucking proven, which blew my mind, but also was like, no wonder my intuition is like on point.
Yeah, yeah.
Anxiously attached people have a better sense of intuition because we are so
Mm,
hyper vigilant, which
right,
contributes to our anxiety, that we
you're
pick
right.
up on nuanced mannerisms, changes in text, changes in tones, changes in facial, like micro expressions, all of these fucking things. We pick up on it like so
Yeah,
easy. We're dialed in. And so the second she was like, she alludes to the mannerisms, she's talking about it, she's like hyper fixating. I'm like, girl, your anxious attachment style is going off. It is going
yeah,
off.
yeah,
Red alert, red alert.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So
Yes.
it's textbook, and I really feel for her because this is the thing, is Leslie is an old version of me too. Like
Mm-hmm.
that was me. Like I used to
Mm-hmm.
trip over like,
Yeah.
he sighed. What does that mean? Oh my God, it's
Right.
been 3 hours since they text me back. Oh,
Right.
they read it and left me on red. Oh, freaking out all of the time. Oh my God, even just, I'm like getting dysregulated just thinking about it.
What sucks though is that she was right. So
Of
what do we
course,
do with
it's,
that? What do we do with that?
well, the sad truth is like, just because you're hyper vigilant isn't necessarily going to be a guarantee you're always right. In this moment,
Yeah.
yes, she very much was, but the thing about anxiously attached people, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So here's my
Yes.
curiosity with Leslie. It's like, if she had been less anxiously attached and more present and more secure within herself, her relationship with Gerry would have unfolded so differently that it wouldn't have been that
Mm,
same self-fulfilling prophecy, right? But yeah,
mm-hmm.
she was dialed in. So what do we do with that? The same thing we do with any kind of heartbreak. Like there's no amount of her picking up on the intuitive hit of like, ooh, something's off, and then her fixing Gerry. She can't fix Gerry. She can't fix the relationship at that point. What she
Yeah.
can do is learn from this and say, wow, if I heal, if I become more okay with me and I'm able to lean back in these relationships instead of being like, choose me, love me, want me, touch me, then I'll be able to get to a place where I'm attracting quality partners who do choose me, who do show up for me, right? And
Yeah.
then we get away from that self. The intuition will still be there, like even with me and my partner, like
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
telling you, like, but I said something the other day that made him feel some kind of way. And I knew without him having to tell me that he was hurting.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so my response was like, do you need space or comfort right now? Right.
Yeah.
Instead of it being
Yeah.
like, let me freak out and try and salvage him and make him feel
Yeah.
better because that's going to be too overbearing for his state. It's like, I feel comfortable with the disconnection for now. Right.
Or you're noticing that he's affected, so then your need is for him to make you feel better about the way that this just disrupted the whole scene and that you feel
Right.
bad about it.
Which is not cool for him and his feelings. It's
Literally.
invalidating. Yeah.
Literally.
So,
So I hear what you're saying. Like this could have been a different relationship, and that is the difference between having a default anxious attachment style and creating self-fulfilling prophecies versus knowing that about yourself, getting a bit on top of that as much as you possibly can to regulate yourself, allow the relationship to take a different shape, and then you're less likely to be in the position that fits and confirms the narrative that you've been living with, which is I'm never chosen.
Right. Because when we look at it from that Leslie lens of like I'm never chosen, she's showing up from that lens, which is going to dictate her behaviors, her words, her actions. Whereas
Yeah.
what if her lens was like I'm secure, I'm a great time, I know what my value is, I know my worth is, so I'm just showing up to get to know the human in front of me. That dynamic's going to be so different. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry.
So,
I'm also just like learning a lot and I'm
oh,
taking it in. Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it. Okay,
It's
great.
fire.
So here's what ends up happening. They're having their little ditty, their little canoodle night, one-on-one before, God knows what happens the next day. And Leslie can tell. And so she pokes and prods by saying, is there something you want to tell me? And
Mm,
fuck, when she said that, I was like, I know exactly where this is coming from, because
yeah.
exactly what you just said. She's feeling
Yeah.
anxious, so she's trying to soothe herself by pulling this information out of him. But any
Yeah.
one of us and anyone listening to this, you know how it feels when you aren't ready to share something and someone is pressuring you to.
Oh
What does
my
that do?
God.
Pushes you away further, right?
More.
So she kind of like nailed the coffin in at that moment. Gerry's like, just that I have he kind of like, I don't want to say he lies, but to create space for him to be able to feel his feelings and figure out what he needs to do next, he says, I just have a hard decision to make, but
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
come to find out he already knew. So he leaves momentarily, goes and has a good cry, freaks out, comes back, knocks on the door. I want to highlight this. He asks for consent, which Gottman Institute alludes to as a soft startup in conflict resolution. He says, can I come in and we talk? Like, he doesn't just say
Yeah.
like we need to talk. He's just like, may I please come in and us talk? So at this point, any anxiously attached person, and Leslie knew where this conversation was going. Everybody knew. Like, how
Mm-hmm.
can you not
Mm-hmm.
know?
Yeah.
So he starts to share like, I have fallen in love with Teresa, and that is the path I am going to take, which I thought was the most gentle way he could say that.
Yeah. Totally.
And then, do you want me to keep going? Do
Yeah.
you want to
Go
say
for it.
anything?
Well, it's interesting, just like my own experience watching the show before they said goodbye, that first time, while they're in the little room at night, I thought that he had already broken up with her. That's how palpable it was to see that she knew what was about to happen. And he was also knowing that he wasn't going to choose Leslie. It was like this very understood but not spoken sense of, yeah, I'm about to hurt you. And her being like, fuck, he's about to fucking hurt me. And then, so I was like, wait, did they already break up in this conversation? And I just missed it. And I went backwards to rewatch it and they didn't. And then they left and then he came back and then they broke up. And I was like, whoa,
Yeah, it was a little bit of a clusterfuck. And I
it's
think,
powerful.
I think noticing that is a sign of how it's a few things, because in our last episode we alluded to Leslie sharing with Gerry all the time, like, I'm never chosen, no one wants me, blah blah blah. That puts a lot of pressure on Gerry to stay with her subconsciously, you know what I
Right,
mean? Because
right,
he doesn't want to
right.
be
Part of
another
that history.
friend, yeah, in
Yeah,
that way. And so I think for Gerry, the intensity of his emotions was knowing and anticipating her pain, her hurt, her feelings, all of that, which is a lot for him to carry, because now he's not even focused at this point on like him hurting her. He's way more focused on like, how do I cushion this for her, which
yeah,
is hard. Like, that's a
yeah,
lot for a human.
yeah,
Ugh, I'm feeling like icky just like trying to put myself in his shoes for a moment. Anyway,
yeah.
so here's where stereotypically, again, speaking from personal experience, anxiously attached people's knives will come out, right? Because she, in order to make herself feel better and to disconnect and to pull away, she villainizes a little, right?
Mm,
Everything you said to me the other night was a lie. And she says that, and he's like, but it
mm,
wasn't. And she's like, no, everything you said to me was utterly a lie the other night. Like, you told me you loved me. You told me you thought I was the one. And he's like, but it was true for me in that moment, which I totally understand what he means. And I think for
Yeah.
Gerry, and we've seen a few of the Bachelors, I can't remember if we've seen Bachelorettes deal with this, but I've seen a few of the Bachelors be so wrapped up in the present moment, which on the one hand is beautiful. And
Good. Yeah.
simultaneously, they say shit like this that really makes it harder for the breakup to happen. So it's like
Yeah.
my counsel to any future people in this situation is like, be
Don't
present,
fucking
yes, and
say it.
don't say it, because it really, for them, they glob onto it, because that's like soothing for her, especially an anxiously attached person. She probably relived that conversation 80 times because it felt so soothing for her, right?
Yep.
And now he's ripping that rug out from underneath her. So then she goes on to say, like, we weren't off today, you were off today, I knew it the second I saw your face. And so then she starts to go, well, where did it go wrong? Because she's trying to assign some kind of blame. And this is the sad reality here, is like I said a moment ago, Leslie is worthy, she is valuable, she is enough. There isn't anything she did wrong necessarily.
Mm.
It's just not a compatible match because of the wounding and what that does to the relationship dynamic, and Gerry having the very autonomous choice of who he picks, right? So it's
Right.
like, it's not right or wrong, it's just not the right match for her or him, right?
Right.
But she, in that moment, because again, when anxiously attached, and I don't, you know, anxiously attached and avoidance, like, we're all the fucking same. Like, I think we get so wrapped up in these labels, but like, at the end of the day, we're all the fucking same. We just respond differently. We
Yeah.
just respond differently. So something
Yep.
an avoidant would do is probably shut down and act like they don't care. They'd be like, okay,
Right.
cool, wish you all the best. And then like
Right.
Gerry would leave, and then they'd like break down, right? That's
Yeah.
probably
Right.
more in alignment with what an avoidant would do, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anxiously attached people are going to be like, fuck you. You
Right.
hurt me. I need to tell you how you hurt me. I need to hurt you back. Right?
Right.
Because that is their way of trying to make themselves soothe and feel
Feel
better.
better.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I really felt for her in this moment. And then she goes on to say, it's my life, this always happened, how no one chooses me again. The other night you made it sound like you chose me. So still, we can see she's been hyper fixated on that moment. You led me down a path and took a turn and left me there. I fell in love with you and your family. Lots of guilt tripping. I fell in love with you and your family today. But thanks for not making me put on that $60,000 dress. Like,
Right. Right.
a little
Right.
passive aggression thrown in
Yeah.
there. Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's just a lot of that comes out, you know, and I
I
feel
didn't
for
I didn't
her.
appreciate, and like it was entirely uh the responses that we were seeing are coming from her wounds, which she is entitled to have. And it was just like, this isn't even fully about Gerry
No,
right now. But
exactly.
unfortunately, it's being directed at Gerry, who now
Gerry.
is not only representing the hurt that he has caused, but he's being asked to represent for all of the times in which she has been
Exactly.
abandoned from her experience. And that is what's
Yeah.
really unfair. It's unfair to like paint. Gerry needed to manage his communication throughout this process differently. The way in which he
Agreed.
communicated his commitment to these women. He needed to do that differently. I'm not saying that Gerry is perfect and without any
Fault.
notes, but
Yeah.
I do think that it is unfair to have Gerry be criticized and sort of painted like the
Yeah.
asshole or like a 72-year-old fuckboy, to
Right.
be
Which
more
she's not.
specific, which he's
Yeah.
not. And so it's like, it doesn't feel really fair. And therefore,
Mm-mm.
her reaction is incredibly well dialed for the hurt that she feels because of the wounds that exist, but
Yeah.
not at all measured for the person that she's speaking them to.
Exactly. And this is why, thank you for articulating that so well, because that's exactly that.
Mm-hmm.
But this is exactly why healing is so necessary, because let's say she was similar to me, like default settings, anxious attachment, but she's more secure within herself, and so she can have a conversation. She'd be able to be like, oh my gosh, I'm really happy you figured that out. This is low key killing me a little, because I had this whole, fairy tale in my head about us potentially being together. But, at the end of the day, I want you to be happy. And, you know, I need to mourn this, so please leave my room, is probably what I would have
Right.
said. And then
Right.
all of the things that she said to his face may have been in my mind and in my heart, but I would have taken it to the mattress instead of to his face. So I think like
Right.
that is such a skill, because it's like, just like, we're not trying to invalidate what Leslie is feeling. I get feeling that. I understand feeling that. And it's
Yep.
not helpful to target somebody, because again, she's targeting someone thinking that'll make her feel better, but really she just needs to let that energy out on a pillow in a boxing class,
Or like
in a run.
screaming. She needs to scream.
Yes, she does. She needs to let that shit out. And yeah, so anyway, but that's exactly what these wounds will do. It's like whoever the most recent, another one bites the dust person is, they are going to get the burden and the energy that's been pent up from all previous situations on them,
Yeah.
They are made to be punished. This is not on topic with the show, but since we're sort of here on topic with attachment styles, I will say it. Like, the other thing that comes up is with people in general with unresolved wounds. It's like, for example, if you were cheated on, now you're dating someone else, and it's like, well, you're not allowed to have female friends because in my last relationship I was cheated
Right.
on. You
Right.
can't do that either. Like, you can't make your new partner pay the price for what your last partner did as a way for you to try and be comfortable, because guess what? Men and women always have to work together. They'll always have to interact. So like, what do you expect them to do with their like, you need to figure out how to find comfortability and security within yourself, and know that if that person were to cheat, that's a reflection of them, not you.
Mm-hmm.
And find a partner that makes you not doubt the trust that you have with them,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
the end. That's what it's
Period.
about. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to share that because it's sort of on target with allowing the pain to be focused on one person, but it's from other people. Anyway.
Yeah. So that
It's hard.
happens.
Yeah.
Gerry feels like shit. Then he sees Teresa and he fakes all of us out when he's like, I can't move in with you. I can't live with you.
Yeah.
It's because I can't live without you.
I
Or
know.
something like that. Super
That's
corny.
exactly it.
It didn't love it. I was like, Gerry,
No.
save it.
Yeah.
No. And then they come together. They get gifted a trip to Italy. They confirm that they fucked the night of Fantasy Suites, and that's why they are so
In
happy.
love.
Yep.
I know.
And
Spooza.
I had two feelings about that. I said, I am okay with and comfortable with the fact that like some people that are older are taking the position of like, we are desperate to normalize that this is happening, that we are having sex, and y'all need to fucking get over it. And I agree with that. And also, don't tell me like that. She's like, and I will tell you why we're close. It's because I
Yeah.
knocked his boots off. I was like,
Yeah.
whoa, Teresa.
I thought it was the funniest thing she had said all season.
It was
I was like,
actually,
that's
this
hilarious.
finale was like the only time that I've ever seen her personality.
Yeah, now I get it a lot more. I'm like, cool.
Where was that?
Editing. I blame editing. They needed a Kathy Teresa drama, so like that's all we saw.
Do you think that they like led us to not like Teresa very much so that we could feel feelings when she got picked?
Maybe. I don't know.
Ugh.
I don't even think it was that intentional in that way. Like, we want our audience to not like Teresa, because I don't think they would do that. But I think they were more focused on like, how do we inject drama into this season? And so because of that, we got less of her natural personality and way more of like the Kathy her side remarks, and then her and Gerry being like, or more her being to Gerry, I can do this with you. I can totally see us doing it. Like,
Yeah.
just her confidence in it.
How do we petition to get Joan to be the next Golden Bachelorette?
Right? Like, they better do a Golden Bachelorette. If I'm being honest, I was really annoyed that they were like, and now next season with our Bachelor. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, we're going from Golden Bachelor into Bachelor. Like, I'm just tired of women. I think what I'm trying to say is this situation of it's establishing and consistently giving us this messaging of women are chasing the guy. The guy is on a pedestal and something to be pined after.
He
Where
gets to
it's like,
choose. We
right, when
wait.
I'm like, yeah, and we line up and we try and lead with our sexuality so that we get picked and stand out. And like, I'm just really not for it anymore. Like, they better fucking have a Golden Bachelorette next season. They better have a Golden Bachelorette followed up by a Bachelorette season, because they are giving us male to male seasons. So like, fuck, I'm annoyed. It's like, and it's also not in alignment with other old like historical cultures. You know what I mean? Like we used to be the prize. Like, we not used to. In certain cultures there's definitely aspects where women were way more valued and respected and
Mm-hmm.
chosen. And
Mm-hmm.
I wish we had more of that here in America. I think it's a
Yeah.
very Americanized, like, guy is on the pedestal, must chase, and like you have to impress them to win their love type bullshit. I think that's a very
Yeah.
Americanized, misogynistic, patriarchal thing that's ingrained in this culture. Now I'm going to
Yeah.
stop talking because I probably ruffled feathers, but sorry, not sorry.
No, I think you're spitting facts.
Okay, thank you.
Period. So, yeah, I agree with you. And also, that next Bachelor is like also very cute. Ugh.
Joey?
Yeah.
Was he on Charity season? I don't know him
Must have
from
been.
Adam.
Must
Yeah,
have
because I
been.
didn't watch Charity
I
season.
don't know. He's hot though. Like, that's my type.
Oh yeah? I
Yeah.
think I don't, what's his heritage? Do you know?
He looks Italian.
Okay. I was gonna say, I think I effed you up with the Brazilian boys when we were children. A little bit.
You only steered me in the right direction.
It's funny because I went from dating like those type, like Brazilian type
Yeah.
guys, like,
Yeah.
and now I've like recently I've had a white boy history.
Yeah, you do have a white boy history.
So funny, how I
Yeah, I know.
switched.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's super cute too, I won't lie. Like,
He's
I think my
hot. But
yeah.
that's a white boy. That Bachelor is a white boy.
Joey?
Yeah.
You consider him a white boy?
The guy that's going to be the next Bachelor,
Yeah.
he's a white boy. That's a white man.
Oh, see,
What do
maybe
you
because he has
think?
darker features. I don't know,
Yeah.
but that's what I was asking. He just has darker features. I still think he's handsome as
Yeah.
fuck. I'm
Yeah.
just like, I did not consider him a white boy though. I'm gonna look.
Really? Do you think he was like Latino?
That's what, well, I was wondering, but I didn't want to assume.
No, I think that's like white boy.
I'm looking it up. Well,
Okay,
that's why I
cool.
asked. And you were like, I
Oh,
think
vamp.
he's Italian. Um,
Italian.
Hawaiian.
What?
Wait, hold on. Let me make sure this is accurate.
I just screamed. I haven't had a
Drew,
voice all episode, and then I scream, what?
he is cute. Oh, wait, maybe he just has a fresh tan on the
Yeah,
show,
I think it's
or it
just
was
tan.
shitty lighting. But I totally was like, what?
I
I
think
thought
they
he
go
might
to
have been
Hawaii.
Brazilian.
Does it say that he's Italian?
He currently lives in Hawaii. No, but his last name is Graziade.
How's it spelled?
What? It looks Italian.
Yeah,
Graziadei. Maybe
yeah.
Greek.
He could be Greek, but I think my money's on
All
Italy.
I'm trying to say, see, like this photo, 100% he looks like a white boy there.
Yeah.
But
Anyway,
maybe it's the buzz cut. Yeah, sorry, you guys. I'm over here thinking he's not
you're
white.
like, he's got to be Brazilian.
Oh my
No.
God, I want to crawl under a rock. That was so funny.
Well, this has been a joyous occasion. What
Yeah.
are we ditching? Let's ditch.
We're ditching blaming our current partner for for the wounds of our past partners. That's what
Girl,
we're
you said
ditching.
it. You said it. We are
Yeah.
also ditching the narratives that have plagued us for our entire lives. If your narrative that you are familiar with, I'm also speaking to me. If your narrative that you are familiar with is, I don't get picked, I never get chosen, this always happens to me. If you hear the words out of your mouth say, this always happens to me, You need to take that narrative and look it in the face, figure out where it's coming from, as you've directed to me, learn how to love on it, and assign it a new job.
Assign it a new job description. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, we love you. If you like this episode, leave us a rating and review. Please go follow us on the gram and TikTok at Ditch the Script Pod. If you want to head to our website, ditchthescriptpod.com is available for you all to go lurk, check out our top episodes, go binge our shit.
Go to our YouTube. We have all of these videos on YouTube.
We have all these videos on YouTube. No. Oh, yeah, we don't. Y'all, go watch our YouTube channel to see these ridiculous faces we make.
Yeah.
And these most recent episodes have like fireworks, hearts, thumbs up. It's kind of hilarious.
Yeah, we've got animation.
Yeah, 100.
Otherwise, we'll see you when we see you.
We'll see you when we see you. We love you. Make good choices. Do a vision board. Show us your vision board. Yo, if you make a vision board, you better post it to your IG story or your IG feed and fucking tag us so we can celebrate your vision board with you. Because that'll be dope.
Yes.
All right. I love you guys. I love you, Brie.
I love you too.
Bye.
Bye.